welcome to the Berkeley Haas session at MBA Spotlight. I'm David Sanaya, and I'm your host. It is my absolute pleasure to present to you Meg Roundy, Associate Director, Full-Time Admissions at Haas. We will begin with a quick overview of the full-time MBA program and critical information you need to know to be successful in your applications. After the brief presentation, we will open it up for Q&A and we'll take as many questions as possible. For everyone in the audience, we have a great way for you to engage and post your questions. On your screen on the right, there's a tab, and there's a Q&A bubble. That's the perfect place for you to post any questions you have for Meg, and also please upvote the questions you want answered. I'll be picking the most upvoted questions from the Q&A tab. And now I'll hand it over to the lady of the moment, Meg.
Oh, David, you are so wonderful, and I'm so happy to be with you and all you joining for this call. So what I'm going to do, as David said, I'm going to start with an overview of Berkeley Haas, our admissions process, and our school, leaving as much time as possible to go through questions. So I am going to jam through this presentation as quickly as possible. If there are things I can go deeper into, just let me know when we get to questions. So bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. And we are going to talk about the full-time MBA program at Berkeley Haas. So Berkeley Haas, what we're going to talk about today, do an introduction of the school, and then I'm going to talk about admissions information. We'll talk about the people, the place, and the culture, what makes Haas special. And then I'll do, an admissions overview for as you send in your applications. Talking about the place where we are located, the bigger picture, we're here in the Bay Area, Northern California, at the heart of what's next. A rich and diverse economy in the SF Bay Area, deep connections and great opportunities. And then we're in California, which is the world's 5th largest economy. So there is a lot going on here that you can be part of. In Berkeley, in the city by the bay, the other city by the bay, and you can see we're right across the San Francisco Bay from San Francisco, but we are the world's #1 public research university. We have 59 top 10 graduate programs, including our MBA programs. And being part of Berkeley, you're accessing the vibrant Berkeley ecosystem, the entire university of what's here. Berkeley Haas has been around since 1898. So we're actually 126 years old now. I think we look pretty good for 126, but we've been reimagining business for 126 years, starting in 1898 when Cora Jane Flood, a woman in the late 1800s, was the person who gave us a land grant to start the College of Commerce, which then, of course, has grown into Berkeley Haas. So very cool that we were started by a woman. Looking at coming to Berkeley Haas, what is your return on investment? What is that bigger picture? Obviously, pursuing your passion or finding your next role, switching, advancing, searching, whatever you're looking for in your career path. But you're also going to be joining a community that has the 3rd highest lifetime earnings among all business schools. We're the 5th highest salaries globally 3 years post the MBA, and with a starting salary on average of $180,000, and that's base and bonus. Real quick, my dog just came back from a walk, so if you hear him barking or jumping on me, he's just saying go Bears. All right, when you look at our programs at Berkeley Haas, the full-time MBA program is one of 6 of our degree programs. The one not represented here is our PhD program. But all of our degree programs are in the top 10, top ranked in the top 10, which is really exciting. We also have 3 different MBA programs. And I'm guessing that there may be a few of you on this call tonight who are interested in learning about our evening weekend or our executive MBA program. So just going through our 3 programs very quickly, we have our full-time program. That's the team that I'm on, working in admissions committee, where this is a 2-year program on campus. Middle 80% years of work experience is 3 to 8 years of work experience. We then have our evening weekend and our flex program. and our executive program. And these are what you may call working professionals or fully employed. Um, but for our evening weekend program, it's a 3-year degree program. You're on campus either 2 evenings a week or on Saturdays. Average work experience 5 to 13 years, and again on campus. We have a new cohort, though, within our evening weekend program called our Flex cohort. That's the same as our evening weekend program, 3-year program. You do have to be online in person, so on Zoom, wherever you are in the world. 2 days a week from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. But other than that, you can be anywhere in the world. And then finally, we have our executive MBA program. This is about a 2-year program as well, 10 to 20 years of work experience. So for our more advanced work experience, 3 great MBA programs, different flavors, but you're getting the same MBA degree. You can see these are our top hiring firms. I'm not going to go through all of them, but this is across our programs. Adobe, Apple is here, McKinsey, BCG, Deloitte, ServiceNow, Google. These are our largest hiring firms of Haas alumni. And then when you look at our full-time MBA program, which I'm going to go a little bit deeper into, for our full-time MBA class of 2026, this is just a nice snapshot of what our program is looking like. We're at 295 students that just started with us in August, 42% women, 38% international, 51% US minorities, 29% underrepresented minorities, a number we're extremely proud of, 15% of first generation, 19% LGBTQ, and 7% veterans. I think the top undergrad majors are no surprise: economics, engineering, social sciences, etc. Question I often get: what if I don't have one of these majors? Yay, great. We are looking for diverse undergrad majors. We're looking for a diverse population of students across the board in all of these numbers and data sets. But we absolutely love our poets and we love our quants, and diverse perspectives are a wonderful thing to have in business school. So, what will you gain from your MBA? When you come to Berkeley Haas, what will you gain? Well, of course, you're going to be learning from great leaders and becoming great leaders yourself. You're going to be gaining core skills to lead growth in any role, any organization, any industry. You're going to dive deeper into data skills and gain nimble people skills. And then DEIJB, sustainability skills, these are embedded into our core and part of a lot of our electives. So this is a big part of Berkeley Haas, really understanding and activating DEIJB and sustainability skills. You're going to go deeper with your electives after the core, especially in applied learning. So, learning from industry experts and business leaders. These are your teachers. Someone from Google is coming up to teach your technology class, but utilizing business leaders in the Bay Area, whether coming to teach your class or coming to present in your class, this is very likely at Berkeley Haas. We also offer over 20 applied innovation courses, and these are essentially experiential learning. So you're doing projects with real companies, international business development, doing a project with a company somewhere in the world, traveling there before your internship to share your results. You're working with clean tech to market, etc. But so many opportunities to have experiential learning. And then you'll, of course, also have an opportunity to take classes across UC Berkeley. So in your time at Haas, you're able to take 2 classes that are in other schools or other departments at UC Berkeley. So you're utilizing the whole Cal campus, the whole UC Berkeley ecosystem. With our career management group, you're coming to Haas to pivot, to explore, to advance in your career. So you get personalized career coaching, working with relationship managers that are bringing deep industry connections, working with career communities, and then working with peer advisors. You will be working with career management before you even start the program, so that you're activating your resume, activating your network, and getting ready to start recruiting and start exploring your next steps right away. Additionally, you're going to be part of a global network connected by shared values. Over 44,000 Berkeley Haas alumni worldwide, 46 alumni chapters in 65 countries that you have access to. And then it's actually over 600,000 UC Berkeley alumni. So you're also part of that larger UC Berkeley alumni community that you have access to from the beginning. You'll be joining a cohort. So our class size of about 295 students, then narrowed down to four cohorts. We have Blue, Gold, Axe, and OSCE. Those are all important worlds in our Cal world, in our UC Berkeley world, but you're in a cohort and then even put into a study group so that you have these strong connections from the beginning that you're working with, that you're adding to each other, making each other better, sharing your experiences and your skill sets, and you're able to practice leading in these teams. Culture is a big part of Berkeley Haas, and we have 4 defining leadership principles. A lot of times people ask me, what is it like to be at Haas? What is the community like? What is the culture? And that can all be summed up in our 4 defining leadership principles of question the status quo, meaning there's got to be a better way. Just because something has been done one way for X number of years, I'm pulling together data and saying we can do it better. We can make more money. We can whatever, but there's got to be a better way to do this. You have confidence without attitude. You're a subject matter expert, but you can always teach someone. You can always learn, and you can do it graciously. You're a student always. So coming back to school is a big part of student always. You're here to continue learning. But you know that in your career path, you'll always need to learn. You'll always be learning. You can be the CEO of a company and know that you always need to be learning. And then you go beyond yourself. You're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your UC Berkeley, your Haas community, your community where you live, the world in general. You're thinking beyond yourself and how you can make things better for those around you and not just yourself. Um, Looking at an admissions overview, and I'll run through this quickly, but we're evaluating applicants by academic, professional, and personal experience. So academic, readiness for the rigor of the core curriculum. A lot of that is going to show up in your quant preparedness. So we're looking at quant based on your GMAT focus, your GRE quant scores. We're also looking at your transcripts. Where did you have quant experience in your undergrad program? How did you do in that? If some of those aren't as strong as you like, did you take an MBA math course or something similar? Are you doing quant work in your job? But we're making sure that quant shows up within your experience somewhere, because that's extremely important so that we know that you can be successful during the rigor of the program. And then, of course, we're looking at your undergraduate transcript and your GPA as a whole. So all of these are data points that we're looking at as we start assessing your application. Please note, if your GPA is lower than you would like, that's something we can't control. You can't control at this point. That's done. So how might you shine in other areas? Maybe your GMAT or your GRE scores aren't as strong as you would like. Perhaps you look at taking it again. Perhaps you look at, again, taking an MBA math course or something along those lines. But again, recognize that that is just one data point of many that we're looking at as we're looking at your application. Your professional experience as well. So your performance relative to your peers, positive and lasting impact that you've made within your company. How have you gone beyond yourself? How have you added value or questioned the status quo and done something new? What is your career progression? Have you switched jobs? Have you been promoted? Where is your leadership, formal or informal, happened? And I say formal or informal because with our full-time MBA program, we do need you to have at least 2 years work experience. But with that, you may not have had an opportunity to manage. You may not have had an opportunity to have been promoted yet. That's where extracurriculars can be a really great addition to your resume and to, again, the beyond yourself aspect of your application. But are you a board member? Are you a leader of your pickleball club? Um, are you doing fundraising work, or are you a mentor? All of these add up in their own ways to showing that extracurricular work and the leadership you may have. But also, please recognize we're looking at your application and investing in you in your growth to becoming a stronger leader. That's what we're here for. As I said, all of this we're looking at through your resume, and then looking at your letters of recommendation. How are your recommenders showing your strengths with examples? Please, please, with examples. And then, of course, your areas of growth. Where have they given you feedback where you can grow? How have you taken that feedback? How have you implemented it? But we all have strength and we all have opportunities for growth. And those are a big part of your letters of recommendation. We do ask that you get 2 letters of recommendation, hopefully one from your current supervisor. But then we recognize, of course, that sometimes you haven't been in your job long enough. Or if you get a recommendation from your current supervisor, that could impact your salary or your career progression. That is okay to not then get a letter of recommendation from your supervisor. We just ask that you tell us why you have gone to other colleagues, either from your past or current, to be your letters of recommendation. And then finally, we're looking at your personal, the personal that comes out in your application. How are you aligned with the defining leadership principles? We're going to see that in your letters of recommendation. We'll see that in your essays. We'll see that in your extracurriculars. But how are you aligned with our defining leadership principles? Where is your passion, your drive, and your motivation? Where is that coming from, and how is that coming out to us in your application? What is the unique contribution that you're going to add to the Haas community? And there are so many ways that you add a unique and wonderful contribution just by being yourself, being authentic. Um, we're looking at your essays, of course. This is one of my favorite parts of the application, reading your essays. What makes you feel most alive? What are your career goals? And how is Haas going to get you to those goals? How have you had experience with DEI JB? And then the video essay, we also ask what defining leadership principle most aligns with you, are you most connected to? So those essays are going to put together more of these pieces to show us who you are. I've mentioned extracurricular involvement a couple times, so we're also looking at that. And then for all of our everyone who is admitted, you have to have an interview. Those interviews are behavioral interviews, and they're being done by our alumni or by our second year MBA students, so a member of our community. Quick overview submission dates. Round 2 is coming up on January 9th. We do have a round 3 on April 3rd, but I do recommend that if you're planning on applying this year, that you do apply in round 2 at this time. And then for our consortium applicants, round 2 is January 5th. So please keep those dates in mind. And then thank you. If you want to grab a quick picture of the QR code, I'm going to keep this up for a second. And should any questions that I don't cover today, you can always reach out to us on mbaadm@haas.berkley.edu. All right, I'm going to take this opportunity to stop sharing my screen and come on back to you to answer any questions. And I'm sorry I went through that so quickly. I hope it's okay.
Oh no, that's perfect. That's perfect because you've got a lot to answer.
Oh no, I've got a lot to
So-
answer to. All right,
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
So we'll try and do it rapid fire because
All right.
there are no booths today. So, is there any application fee waiver? Well, I think we discussed this, but I don't know if you
Yeah.
can share this with everyone.
So yes, Berkeley Haas does not have an application fee waiver unless you are a veteran or you live in Africa. Other than that, we do not have application fee waivers. And then should this question come up as well, we do not have GRE or GMAT waivers either. You must take one of those.
Okay. So, thank you for your explanations today. For the GMAT focus, do you focus on the percentile of the total score? How important do you consider each subject to be? For example, a low verbal or something else. Would you consider the DI in the new total score to be equally important?
So when we're looking at any of the test scores, so GRE, GMAT Focus, or GMAT, Berkeley Haas has a range of what we're looking at. So whether a range of each of those sections, percentage-wise or numbers-wise, and then we're also looking at the total score, and are you in our range? The range for that is on our website. I'm gonna look real quick if I have this in front of me, and I bet you I don't. Ah, haha, I do. So GMAT, and this is on our website. The middle 80% range of the GMAT, 690 to 750. GMAT Focus, the middle 80% range, 615 to 675. GRE Verbal, our middle 80% range is 155 to 168. And then GRE Quant, middle 80% range is 154 to 167. So again, each of these are data points, and I want to stress this because yes, say you get a lower verbal score or you get a lower quant score. We are just going to look at that in that, is this showing up somewhere else in your application? Are we seeing quant skills? I think yeah, it's important that we see that somewhere, whether quant or verbal, that that's showing up somewhere. So I've had English majors who have had low verbal scores. I can see you're an English major. Maybe you're not a great test taker. That is life. I am not a great test taker. So I get that completely. So it's just we're looking at other places in your application to see if something is lower than you may have wanted, that it's showing up somewhere else.
That's a fair point, and it just goes back to what you're saying about the whole application being
Yeah.
taken into account and not just
Yeah.
individual data points, as you put it. So
Yeah.
that's answered, and we'll move to the
Great.
next. Okay, okay, a bunch that have already been answered, or we'll skip
Great.
those. Is your full-time MBA program STEM designated? And this is from
Yes.
Sa.
We are. We are a STEM designated full-time MBA program. Yes, easy.
Perfect. Okay,
Yes.
we'll move on. How do scholarships vary from round one to round two? Are scholarships needed? Are scholarships need based or merit based?
Yeah. So I think I literally got the same question yesterday. But we have need-based and merit-based scholarships at Berkeley Haas. So I'm going to start with that. Answer the second part first. Needs-based, as you're filling out your application, you're providing that information to us. Merit-based. That's really going to be about what are your scores? What's your GPA? What are your scores? So that you will be put into the pool based on other applicants. What then happens? And then I'm sorry, I should also share that we have various fellowships that you're also able to apply for or kind of check the box for and provide information on why you think you're a fit. We have those as part of the application process as well. So, for instance, a Forte fellowship or a consortium fellowship. Those are all part of this application process as well. We do now, when you look at the amount of scholarship funding we have a set amount. Um, I'm just going to say $1. It's not $1, but say we have a dollar. And so in round one, we're then looking at everyone who we're offering admission to and saying, okay, here's where you fit in with these scholarships or fellowships. So we're going to offer you a penny from that, whatever it is, whatever number it is. Now, when we look at round one, those who are offered scholarships that choose not to attend Haas, that money goes back into the pool for round two. So there is a set amount for scholarships. This is a big reason that I suggest applying during round one or round two, as a lot of times by round three, we don't have as much to provide, but it's really our financial aid team is looking at everyone in the pool who's eligible for the scholarships, and then they're awarding those numbers, those dollar amounts. Yeah, maybe I talked in a circle a little bit. I apologize, but hopefully that answers that. And I'm sorry, David, I'll just add one more thing. With any MBA program, it's very unlikely to get every piece of the pie covered. So tuition, fees, living expenses, food, everything. I highly recommend looking at loan options, and I highly recommend doing Google search or a ChatGPT search on scholarships that are available. There are tons of scholarships available out in this world that have nothing to do with the schools that you're applying to. They have to do with perhaps the industry that you're looking into or where you're from originally. Various criteria. That's random at best. So I highly recommend doing searches for scholarships that are available and applying to those. There are so many ways to make up the pie of paying for your MBA wherever you go, but start doing that research now because you'll probably have to pull from a couple places.
That's fair. That's fair. So moving on, we've got a question here from Ankit, and it says, "Can the MBA program be customized or completed in a shorter duration, such as a year to a year and a half? Also,
Uh,
could you provide insights into the types of companies that actively recruit from this program?"
Yeah. So can it be customized? No. It's a 2-year degree program. And a part of that is your first semester, you're in core classes. So you're starting with everyone in core classes. Yes, you can test out of some of those core classes, but you're in core classes your first semester. And then the remainder of your time, 3 more semesters, you're taking electives, which are going to help you grow as a candidate, grow as a person, grow in the application pool. And then your summer between your first and second years, you're doing an internship, which is also adding to the experience that you're gaining, which is adding to job possibilities or networking. So all of this is part of that 2-year program. You're also taking leadership opportunities. So gaining those skills, launching entrepreneurship endeavors or learning about that. So there's so many things that take up that 2-year time. Um, could you provide insights into the types of companies that actively recruit from the program? So one of the slides that I had um, did share that information, and I would say you're looking at. I'm just grabbing this: top technology firms, top um, CPG firms, um, top consulting firms. The top firms are coming to Berkeley Haas. I'm going to give everyone a tip, though. This is a random tip. If you go into LinkedIn, this is just separate. I don't work for LinkedIn, but I use it all the time. If you go into LinkedIn and you do a search for the university that you're looking at, so Berkeley Haas, University of California, comma Berkeley, comma Haas School of Business. If you do a search in there and get to the school page, there's a button for alumni. If you click alumni, it's going to show you the number of alumni. It's going to show you the top companies, the top geographies, the top industries and functions. All of that information is really strong in LinkedIn and even looking at the larger institutions. So UC Berkeley, where are those alumni? But you can do this for any school. So if there is a school that you're really focused on a certain company or a certain industry, that's a great way to look at where are alumni going? Who is your network? Where are they working? But I do also want to say, and I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. My first 17 years working at Berkeley Haas were in alumni relations and student alumni relations. So this was my world. The past 1+ years have been in admissions. But I'd also say wherever you end up going, a lot of your fate and your next steps are up to you. You have so many opportunities to network. You have so many opportunities to use your title of student to connect with people. And so a lot of this does come on you as well of how are you networking? Who are you reaching out to? Are you learning how to ask those questions and build your brand so that if your dream company is Google, Google is going to hire you because you've met people, because they've put in recommendations for you, whatever it is. But you'll have so many opportunities wherever you go, but certainly different schools, you'll see where their alumni are. Sorry, went off on a tangent.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
There are many questions though. So many questions. So we'll
Oh,
have
I'm
to go
sorry.
with rapid
Okay, I'll
fire.
go faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. My question to Okay, Yuri. Oh, Yuri's not here anymore, so we're gonna skip that. With the increase in the number of applications, what are the three aspects to focus on to get an admission, especially for overrepresented international students?
Um, so that's a great question. I think the best answer for Berkeley Haas, and David and I talked about this before we started today, but we're asking you to be your authentic self and let us know how you align with our defining leadership principles. The other things, the letters of recommendation, work experience, GPA, scores, all of that, those are important as well. But we're very much looking at culture fit. Do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel it in your head, your gut? Is Haas the right place for you? You need to let us know that. You need to show how you're aligning with our culture. That's really, really important because that's the community that you're building. It gives us the opportunity to make sure, is this person a good fit for Haas? But it also gives you the opportunity to say, am I a good fit for Haas? This is a network you're part of for the rest of your life. Is it the right place for you? That's authenticity, and make sure that the culture is strong, a strong fit for you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to skip over some questions to find some more informative ones, not
Mhm.
too similar to ones we've had already. So,
Great.
um, do qualitative factors such as emotional quotient and orator
Mhm.
skills provide a strong case for an admit to UC Berkeley Haas business vis-a-vis quantitative factors such as standardized test scores, GPA, essay prompts, and work experience?
Ooh, this one's a big. Okay, so EQ, I would say that more has to do with emotional intelligence, and that I think you're going to show through your letters of recommendation, through your essays, and of course, we're looking for a well-rounded candidate. Now, standardized test scores, GPA, let's put that in another bucket. Every top business school has to meet or has ranges that they're looking in, because that is how um, rankings take place. That is what our the people above us are asking for. But so we do have a range. Now you can also look at, so you may fall below that range. You may fall above it, which yay, awesome. Um, but you may fall below that range. That doesn't negate the rest of your application. And I say this in the way of, we can take a 2.8 GPA because we're taking 4.0 GPAs. And when you average that out, you're getting where we're falling in a nice sweet spot. So certainly I don't want anyone to feel like you don't meet the necessary requirements if your GPA is a little lower than our average. Test scores, same thing. These are just data points. We're looking at holistically at your entire application. So essay prompts really give us a good picture of who you are and what you want to be doing. What I would say with the essay prompts is read them and answer them specifically. Um, I think it's difficult when we get answers that are not what the essay prompt asked. You've just given away an opportunity to share more about yourself. And then work experience. Again, we require at least 2 years work experience. Our average is 5.6. And for our full-time program, it kind of goes up to about 8 or 9 years of work experience. I think it's important to look at, if you have more than that, is the full-time program the right fit, or are the other programs a better fit? If you have less than that, get more so that you meet our requirements. But I hope I answered uh, the main parts of that question.
I believe so. Okay, let's move on. So, does Haas have a preference to admit younger, less experienced applicants because they're able to cope with longer work hours and lesser
Oh,
responsibilities? How does Haas determine the quality of paid work experience and pro bono community service? So it's a compound question. I'll put it.
all right. Let's see here. This one's a biggie.
Yeah,
Um, okay.
about to dig things
Well,
out tonight.
do we prefer younger, less experienced applicants? No, I can't say we would prefer it. Like, again, between the work experience of like 2 to 9 years, we prefer strong candidates. And again, that's going through every part of the application. Now, because they're able to cope with longer work hours. Ugh. So looking at our defining leadership principles, I hope what you take away with some of that is that there is an empathy, there is a love, there is a respect, there is a, we want you to have a life. One of our essays is, what makes you feel most alive? And if you answer, I'm young and I can work long work hours, that so well, I don't want that as your answer. We're the person is who is important to Berkeley Haas. These beautiful, authentic, wonderful human beings. I think anytime you an alumnus or a student, and I had a session today where we were talking about um, students in fintech, and their response of their favorite part of Haas was their classmates. So I'm looking at my screen and saying, no, this is, this question. No, we're looking at strong candidates with really diverse backgrounds, passion and excitement. And again, we're coming from all of this with love and empathy. I don't want you to work your life away.
Mm.
How does Haas determine the quality of paid work experience and bono community service? So the paid work experience is important. Those 2 years of work experience within a company, that is what you have to meet before applying to Haas. A pro bono community service is so lovely because again, it's going into that beyond yourself aspect. It's important that you have it. You don't need to be doing 20 hours a week of community service or extracurriculars, but we want to see that you're giving back in some capacity. And again, that's that larger aspect of beyond yourself and really gaining those extra pieces of experience.
All right, mark that one down. And
Okay.
how does us look at an applicant with 12 years of work experience over a candidate with 6 years of work experience?
Yeah. So again, I can't answer this specifically because it really is about holistically. Um, we're really looking at where have you grown, where have you um, failed and learned from your failure, or succeeded and learned from your success to go forward. Um, I think it's also really important to what are your goals. For instance, if you have 12 years work experience and you're the CEO of Intel, the full time program would not be the right place for you, just because you have that experience. You have such strong experience in years. That's when I would look at should you look at the other MBA programs at Haas, such as the EMBA Executive MBA program. Is that a better fit? Now, 12 years work experience, and you're looking to maybe pivot to something totally different, being a software engineer, pivoting into uh, marketing. I don't know. That is where I'd kind of weigh that. Okay, this is a pivot. So is a full-time experience the best opportunity? And what is the entire application looking like? Again, holistically, there's so many pieces that make up the entire puzzle that we're looking at. That is you.
That's a wonderful, comprehensive answer. And the short form of that is it's about the whole
Yep.
package, guys.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we'll move on. And here's one from Gurshan. Gurshan. And it says, can you speak to how an MBA would be different compared to the Haas undergraduate experience?
Yeah, Gershon, are you a Haas undergrad? So that would make you a double bear. They're very different programs. Certainly different faculty, an opportunity to emphasize the focus for your industry or function, getting that internship, the paid internship between your summers, doing that experiential learning, the applied innovation. That's huge. You're working directly with companies, or you're working on impact investing and actually investing funds to see how that if someone is a good company. Sorry, I'm using quotes. It's the end of the day, but you have so many more experiences and different ones. Your classmates are also going to add value to so much of your experience, and they've had various work experience that they're bringing to the classroom as well. So there are a lot of wonderful things about it, and a lot of wonderful opportunities. If, for instance, this is a school that's preparing you for your next step. Gershan, you're welcome to reach out to me directly, though, if you want. You should still have my email address. So please feel free to reach out to me if I can give you more information on being a double bear.
Perfect. Perfect. Double bear. I like that. That's a really
Mhm.
succinct, cute way to describe that. Uh, this is from Dorcas, and it says, hi, is there an MBA accounting program in Berkeley House?
There is not. So Berkeley Haas is a generalized MBA program. You are able to get certificates, and we do have dual degree programs. an MBA MCS, MBA MPH, Masters in Public Health, MBA JD, so Juris Doctorate, and an MBA MCS, which is a new degree, Masters in Climate Science. So you are able to do dual degree programs. Accounting is not one of them, nor is it really a focus at Haas.
Okay. Okay. So that one goes down. Does the school have a real? Oh, I think it's still
A real
related. Does
estate
the school
program?
have, yeah,
Yeah.
concentrations? If so, can you tell some key stats of previous cohorts with respect to real estate backgrounds?
So that's a way too big question for this session. I will say we have a very strong real estate program. We have a very strong center, the Fisher Center for Real Estate. We have the Berkeley Real Estate Alumni Association, BREA, Berkeley Real Estate Club, BREC. There is a lot going on in BREC and BREA. I just like saying this in real estate at Haas, an extremely strong and connected alumni network that's doing a lot to give back to our students to make sure that they're connected. Now, key stats, that's an offline connection. I think that one's too big.
Mhm. Understood. So this is from Sarabana, and it says, "Can you explain a bit about Haas campus visitation, what to expect from it, and how to prepare myself?"
Yeah, so Haas visitation, this is something you can find on our admissions page under the events section, and you're able to come to Haas, either a morning session or afternoon session, and they kind of blend together. If you come in the morning, we'll focus on that. You would start with visiting a class. So being able to sit in on a class at Haas so that you can hear from professors, you can get to know some of the students and just see what this experience is like. After that, we then have coffee chats with our current students so that you're meeting with some of our first and second year students to really talk with them about what is the program like, what can you expect, ask your questions. From there, you then have lunch, and then you come meet with an admissions committee member who we then do a presentation on why Haas. What is the application process like? Very similar to the presentation I did here. But so you're in a presentation with admissions committee member, hearing information about the admissions process, but also asking questions. That then leads into a session with our Haas student ambassadors, who are students who work directly with the admissions team, so that they can answer any additional questions that you have. They can provide feedback or suggestions as you go through the admissions process. You need to prepare nothing. It's a fun day, it's casual, it's a great opportunity to just visit the campus and learn more about the Haas School and the program. So it's a lot of fun. I get to do those presentations too, so I like that.
All right, perfect. I'm going to mark that one as answered. And the last
Great.
question for today from Roxanne is going to be this. I'm from one of the big tech companies with about 6 to 7 years of work experience. Is it okay if I'm taking a gap and not working slash employed while I'm applying for the MBA?
Yes. Um, but I want to know why and what you're doing. And the way that I'm saying I'm answering this in the sense if I'm reading your application and I see that you have 6 to 7 years experience at a big tech company, you've probably been promoted or changed focus. That's really cool. That looks great. Taking a gap year and not working, what are you doing in that time? Are you traveling to Bali to get your yoga teacher certification, which cool. Are you just bumming around Europe? Maybe not as cool. It's really how are you taking this time to do things that are going to add value to your application, add value to you really being uh, building your self awareness, building your feedback and understanding of your career hypothesis, maybe taking language lessons somewhere, going to Guatemala and learning Spanish. Um, I think the ones where I wish there was more is if someone just said, "Oh, I hung out with my friends in Paris and whatever, and ate croissants." It's there's where is the meat in what you're doing in that year? Now, don't make choices so that they add to your, or so that they add positively or negatively to your application. Go do what you need to do for a year and take me with you. But it's very much about, I think we'd like to see that you use that time, um, that will
To
add
grow.
value and experience in your
Mhm.
application.
Perfect, perfect. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so very much for your time. There's still a few unanswered questions. So where can the people go to have their questions answered?
So MBA ADM at haas.berkeley.edu. I'm also going to share, please go to our website, haas.berkeley.edu, to view the application process, the admissions section for full-time MBA. A lot of the information that you're asking about is going to be there. So please do check out our website, and certainly reach out if we can answer any questions where the information is not there.
All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you so very much for your time, Meg. Truly appreciate you. To our wonderful audience, thank you so much for being here. This is the last event of the day. I hope that it's been able to calm some nerves around the application process. And we're signing out. Have a good
All right.
day. Have a good night to everyone.